Nathan here with the Fastlane car, and behind me is the 2019 Volkswagen Arteon. This is a vehicle we've been waiting for a long time, and it's one of the best looking vehicles Volkswagen has produced in pretty much forever. Now in this video we're going to talk about a lot of good, but also a little bit of bad. It's not a perfect car despite how awesome it looks. All right, guys, check this out. Look around here. That's right, the entire nose of the vehicle pretty much opens. It's like a clamshell. See, the whole thing, from one fender to the other, the whole thing lifts. What you're looking at here is a 268 horsepower four-cylinder turbo. It's a 2-liter that puts out 258 pound-feet of torque. It's hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it normally would feed the front wheels, but this is a 4Motion all-wheel drive, thus all 4 wheels are being fed. It can get, as configured, 20 miles per gallon in the city, that's not so great, and 27 miles per gallon on the highway. Obviously, if it has the front wheel drive configuration, it will get better MPG. Let's talk about styling, because that is the Arteon's trump card, without a doubt. It's not just the cool hood. It's the whole thing. Now, this car replaced the Volkswagen CC, which was one of my favorite Volkswagens. It was a cool car because, unlike the Passat, it had a little bit more of a sporty nature to it. It looked a lot better. You can get one with a 2-liter turbo and a manual transmission, at least for a little while. It wasn't powerful enough. And we'll talk about that with this car soon. But you know what is powerful? These lines. Look at it. Now this has a 112-inch wheelbase, and it's based on the MQB platform. Now that platform is shared with other Audi products and Volkswagen products. Even the Jetta has the MQB platform. It's a platform that can be stretched and lengthened and lifted and blah, 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 blah. They can do a ton of stuff with it, and they spent billions developing that platform. I don't really care about that. I care about this. Oh my God, is that a sexy line or what? And it comes back to what might be one of the best looking German rear ends I've seen in a long time, which deserves a little bit of that. Just beautiful from every angle. And that's the cool part. They've actually built a proper looking sedan. I know they call it a coupe or a coupe or whatever. You could even call it a hatchback, because it is. As a matter of fact, check this out. Hands-free. 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 See how easy that was? I do have a pet peeve about the design, and it's something that a lot of automakers do. They create these fake exhaust ports. Well, they're not fake. It is a port, and the exhaust is in there. However, there's an exhaust pipe deep in there. And I'd rather see the real thing sticking out instead of having some sort of finished piece right here. Especially when you're behind the vehicle and you're looking at it and you can see it. I just don't think it looks great. We're on dirt right now as we're going onto the road, and the reason I mention this is because this car has what a lot of people would like to call a European feel. That means that unlike a lot of American cars that are a little bit more floaty, the equivalent I should say, or even the Toyota Camry, this one has a much stiffer suspension. It's not punishing. When you go over a pothole, it's well sorted. It figures out what's going on, but you can feel it. And because of that, this car handles really good because it's stiff. Even in normal driving mode, going around a corner in this car is pretty damn rewarding. Really good steering weight. Not a ton of steering feel. All right, guys, so now begins some of the negative. And the first one is, if you're a tall person getting in and out of a low-slung car like this, well, you have to move your head around a little bit. Let me show you once I open the door. Here we go. You really have to kind of tilt because the sill is so low. The good news is, though, once you're inside, room is pretty good. I tend to sit bolt upright with the seat as low as it can go. And I have okay headroom. Legroom is really good. Germans are tall and they have long legs, right? Plus, this has the sunroof, which is interesting because you can actually open the glass to the sunroof and leave the shade closed. I can't exactly figure out why, but knowing the Germans, they probably spent millions of dollars developing this, saying, the bugs will not come in at high speed. That's all I can figure. But look at this interior. Look at the way they laid it out. It's beautiful. I love the simplicity. I love the solid lines. There are a couple things that aren't necessarily the best. This whole area here is completely blank. And this finish, as nice as it is interrupted by this thing. Other people have pointed it out as well, and I don't understand why the buttons are here and not down here. Another weird thing is the setup down here and all of these blanks. What are these for? What else can you put on this vehicle? Missile launcher, ejector seat, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, off-road dominance with a locking center diff. I just don't understand why these things are even here. At the very least, they should just get rid of them altogether and put a solid piece of plastic here. I don't know. But all in all, a very comfortable place to be, and the seats are incredibly comfortable. I like the way they look, too. This is definitely a car that doesn't really work well with heavy metal, but it works all right with alternative. Anyway, so I bet you're wondering, why are we focused on this screen? And that's because this car is crazy customizable. Let's start with some of the things you could do, obviously apps and all that, but let's go to car. You can actually go to your performance monitor, which is pretty cool because it does G's. It shows how much power you're putting out, lap timer, and then energy consumption. Look at that. You can actually see what is consuming and how it's consuming. That says mode, or mode, probably just mode. Hit that button and you have different driver modes to choose from. Custom is something that you can actually adjust on your own to set up the suspension, steering, and acceleration the way you want it to work. Eco, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So is comfort. It's smooth-ish. Normal and comfort, frankly, feel the same. Sport sharpens everything up. Your steering, your throttle response, and your suspension. I'm gonna put my foot down now. There it is. There's turbo lag, and it is noticeable. And this is in sport mode. This is my biggest issue with this car. It's such a fast looking car. That's not a really fast car. It's quick. Here we go. From a turn. And there it is. This is disappointing for me, having this type of lag in a car like this. Otherwise, it's great. The exhaust note could be a little bit better too. Now I know what you're thinking. You're saying, why? Why didn't you build a crossover? Because that's all everybody buys. And I think Volkswagen was very brave to build a car like this because it's a car and it's a really good looking one. And you can only get that when you have something low slung and long. Now, there's more to it than that because they actually managed to maintain some really cool utility. First of all, I wanted to show you this. This is the rear emblem. Yes, and it does two things. One, it actually pops and there's a camera down here for the rear view camera. Two, it's an emblem. And three, it's another way you can open the trunk. Ta-da! And look what you get. Back here behind the rear seats, 27 cubic feet of cargo room, which is impressive and more than most trunks. Fold those seats down and you have 55 cubic feet of cargo space. And it's a fairly flat floor too. Now, it is a 60-40 split bench that folds, but you also have the center component where the armrest is, that folds as well, so you can shove skis through there. Multi-purpose. There's more. Yes, you can get a cargo net. Everybody does that. But that is a full-size spare tire, that is. Pretty cool, right? And there's a little tiny bit of cargo space in here too for some extra stuff, including toothpicks, toothbrush, Q-tips, stuff like that. So there is a lot of usable cargo space, and there's a little bit of cargo space right over here for a couple things. All in all, they managed to make this car very utilitarian. And of course you have this, which will close it just like that. Ta-da! You know what else is interesting? Backseat space, because it's better than you think despite the slope. I was worried about this, but check this out. I'm sitting behind myself and I am 6'1". Other than having to lower your head to get through this, I have pretty good headroom and I have amazing legroom. Cool part is, back here, it's a third zone. So you could set your own temperature, which is pretty cool. There is one more very positive thing about this car. It has a bumper-to-bumper warranty, which is one of the best in the business. 6 years or 72,000 miles, whichever comes first, and it's transferable. So there you have it. The car handles well, it's quick, but it's not fast, and it has real turbo lag. There's a little bit of a booming noise at high speed, but this killer stereo system, which is like 700 watts, yeah, that'll take care of that noise. So I guess there's a trade-off here, right? If you want the base version of this vehicle, which still comes with a pretty nice group of options, it's around $36,000. For that price, you can get a fully loaded V6 Toyota Camry. Hard to say. One is more conventional than the other, but it's hard to beat the good looks of this one, right? Now this one, as configured, is the SEL Premium, and it comes in with an MSRP of about $46,000. I know it has its quirks, but it's also a pretty cool car. Well done, Volkswagen, for trying something adventurous.